One of the best John Ford films of this era, I will claim, is Lost Patrol, 1934, starring Victor McLaglen and Boris Karloff. One of the most compelling films cinematographically Ford put out during this decade. I think it's one that will stand very, very proudly today as an example of stellar visual storytelling in the early-ish sound era. As I've stated before, it was it was unfortunate how much the visual character of the medium of Hollywood films, at least, was sort of de-emphasized during the talk era, where they were just adapting stage plays, as a kind of surefire, successful stage plays, so as a surefire means of commercial success. And the visual component was de-emphasized, because that's all you had to work with in the silent era, naturally. And Lost Patrol has sort of the older ethos of like Griffith framing his players amongst a landscape, or of the great European films of the 20s, which Ford was, so they say, an admirer of. Lost Patrol feels softly expressionistic. It seems to pre-configure notions of desert landscapes which God, if it's a precursor to anything, it might be some of the stranger, those strange Monty Hellman westerns of the mid '60s. It has a very odd quality, the way it depicts its desert landscapes. It's not it's distinct from the vast desert war epics that you might see later. Obviously, Lawrence of Arabia, which was inspired by Ford's own The Searchers, and you can think of Schaffner's Patton, the very sort of historical realist, or sort of military textbook, sort of history author and its historian in their disposition. Whereas Lost Patrol is more about the emotional, the pathology, rather than sort of historical grandeur or seriousness. Like sort of a strict dedication to the historical record. Lost Patrol is more of a just a piece of drama in this respect, not a biopic, of course, as the two films I just mentioned are. Now, a relatively brief length runtime as well. I believe Lost Patrol could be one of the Ford pictures I'd sooner recommend to contemporary viewers who are interested in his work at this time. I was questioning, I believe it was in the last upload, Judge Priest, what would be the easier Ford films of the 1930s to recommend, and even the stronger films of this time, you have to wonder, are they going to have a wider appeal to audiences? Do film fans really want to watch the kind of material that is, say, Seas Beneath, or Pilgrimage, Judge Priest, Mary of Scotland, Prisoner of Shark Island might be a bit American. Who knows? I would soonest recommend, perhaps, and I didn't mention this last time, and I ought to have The Informer from 35, which we'll get to. That's maybe a masterpiece I could suggest. I think Flesh as well would hold up to contemporary audiences. And The Lost Patrol, I think, is rather easy to see. To sped up here. The spellbinding aesthetic which Ford managed to compose, along with his cinematographer, Harold Wenstrom, they delivered this outstanding, I think one of the more memorable films of the early Ford oeuvre